Gwyneth Paltrow's vaginal eggs were just the start. With her company Goop, she has launched an anal suppository made from tangible chi that is to be kept right up the butt, with the promise of no more wiping after excretion. But this time it isn't a scam. Everyone was raving over the little no-wipe nuggets of joy. The production of the suppository took its toll on the planet, but people didn't care. "Oh, it's worth it for a clean break," said Mark of West Hollywood. But that sentiment soon subsided when the side effects came. The suppository made it impossible for the small intestine to absorb nutrients, and this could not be reversed. People were perishing at an alarming rate and living in a wasteland with too many dead to fix it. Our last chance for humanity will be catapulted into space and must choose one TV series, movie, and album. And boy wonder Bobby Flay will cook them one last meal. This week, our guest is Austin Sweatman.
Welcome to the podcast. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. So reeling from that, but...
So the first question should be...
How did you escape?
No. Who would you want to take with you if you could take somebody with you?
Oh, okay. Like just one person.
One person.
I guess we could look at it this way. Like, you're saving the human race, so particularly you have to take into account, like, somebody who could possibly help repopulate
the Earth.
Yeah.
No, well, last week we gave Alyssa
and Jordan sperm donors.
So if he wanted to take a guy, we could give them some eggs.
How would they incubate them?
We'll give them some stuff.
I don't know.
We make it
dish?
up.
I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't feel really comfortable without having like a mom up there either. So. I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about potential like.
Companions.
Yeah. Well, with those highs of stakes anyway, I just thought it was going to be me and whoever, and we'd just go do whatever.
Sophie Turner.
I mean, she's on the list, so yeah, if you're out there. Thinking about who comes to mind of, like, could like survive too.
Yeah.
I think skills,
intellect. And like intellect, also like same age.
Yeah, that's a good point. You wouldn't want them to die. Like,
I think you could deal with like a
you.
10-year age range.
Okay.
You know,
because I was thinking of like trying to think of world leaders and stuff, and the only one who comes to mind remotely our age is what's her name? Alexandria Cortez. Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah. I was thinking of people like Angela Merkel from Germany. I was like, that she'd probably like not be with us at that point, depending on how fast this happens.
But then also you have to think like survival skills and, you know, and things like that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a world leader, but somebody who you think, you know, would be a good representation of how you want the human race to be.
Or it doesn't even
have to be that. It could just be somebody you think is good looking. And,
no,
you know.
well,
okay.
You're probably not going to survive, so somebody could have a laugh with.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you're probably going to die, both of you, unfortunately.
Well, for both of those, we're back to Sophie Turner, so that doesn't help me. I don't know, because there's a lot of pressure for like celebrities and stuff. I mean, I think of like my best friends and stuff, but
you can do that. Yeah.
You can only choose one best friend.
God.
Oh yeah, so now we're gonna find out.
Now we're gonna find out who makes the cut. Oh man, I think they're all taken too. None of them are single. Like, oh man.
You have to remember this is the apocalypse.
This is the apocalypse.
It could just be that this is the only one who's
Everyone
survived.
else has died.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Whew.
Who would not stick an anal suppository up their butt?
Who would
that
not?
That can help you eliminate.
Oh my god, that's so specific. I mean, like, my friend Devin always comes to mind in terms of, like, she can hold her own and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Devin would be a great survival partner. Like, she would be able to forage for food on a foreign planet.
She'd have the machete out, like...
And she'd keep, like, morale up. She'd be like, come on, Austin, let's go! Like, I just imagine
she does that anyway. Like,
right, exactly. Yeah. I just imagine her
and she would not stick the anal suppository up her butt. Yeah. That's priority number one. Like... We'll go with Devin, yeah.
All right. All of Austin's other friends, you suck.
Oh my god. If this ever gets out, yeah.
Austin hates you. It will get out. It's on a public platform.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
It's on iTunes.
Well, iTunes shuts down when the anal suppository hits anyway, so.
Austin loves all of you. It's just Devin would definitely be the one to survive. That's
We're trying to survive, man. Like,
and she's just saying the rest of you are weak. It's fine.
No, I may have meant that, and you may have heard that, but I did not say that.
All right, so Devin is lucky enough, and we'll say actually just witty enough to survive.
Just witty enough.
Just witty enough to survive. So, one of the things that we like to ask all of our guests is, what is the one memory that you'll take with you from Earth that you will cherish the most? Like, as you're shooting off in the spaceship, what's going to be like the thing that you think of the most that you're going to miss, whether it be the thing you miss the most, or just a moment that really reminds you of humanity, or anything along those lines, really. Something that's just a fond memory.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any one in particular, but it's more of a tradition in terms of, like, when you do a lot of different shows in theater and stuff like that, there's always that after show or after rehearsal, like going out afterwards, in terms of you never know who's going to be there, how long you're going to be there, but it's always good to be like, ooh, man, we need a pint. Let's go out. Like, just having, like, a long table, like, make sure you tip that server because you're pissing them off for staying there. You're like 2 hours too late. But, like, that's one thing that I always think of in terms of that's normally where I remember my friends. That's normally the setting. So just like the idea of the warmth of those late nights with friends, laughing over a pint after a rough day of theater. Oh yeah. Like, it's that specific, almost a ritual in the sense of just like, all right, now we got the hard part out of the way, and now it's what we're really here for. Like.
Yeah. So, now what is the one memory that you would just never want to think about again, that you don't want the aliens to know about it? So embarrassing. It could be embarrassing. It could be just awful. It could be something really horrible that you did, as long as it's not incriminating, you know?
Oh, okay, yeah.
What's the one thing you want to leave on Earth and not take with you?
That we just leave and just never come back to. How dark are we getting? No, just kidding.
As dark as you want.
What have you done?
I mean, there's a body by the 805. No, like, I don't know. One memory I always go back to is like, so I did Boy Scouts, like Cub Scouts a little bit, like right before I started middle school, because we all know middle school is actual hell on earth. Like, actually is a weird adjustment. But about that time was, I think, one of the first times I went like on a week-long camping experience, and it didn't take long for me to not be on board with that at all. Just a whole week long of doing nothing but just like, oh dear God, when am I gonna leave? Like, holy crap, like we're stuck here with like, I know only 2 people. Like, so I think we can leave that, because now I don't like to focus on that kind of uncomfortable side of change. Instead, it's just like, all right, well, we're not getting out of this. What can we get out of this?
Yeah.
Just kind of breathe and roll with things.
It's so funny that you say that, because earlier today you were telling me how you want to hike the Appalachian Trail.
No, exactly. So, like, growing from those experiences instead of, oh my God.
Yeah, but that's how everyone feels. You're right. Like, when you're in middle school, you're just like, how can I get out of this life, like this body that I'm in? It feels so uncomfortable. These people make me uncomfortable. Everyone's judging me, you know.
Yeah, and you feel like you're never going to grow out of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It feels like
It takes
forever,
middle school took approximately 15 years. Like.
Yeah, middle school sucks. I feel like just being around that age sucks. So I totally relate to that. I feel like, honestly, if I could, I don't want to say erase, because like you said, like now you're able to take those experiences and push yourself and become a better person because of it. But I feel like there's so many experiences that I had from that age that
You look back and it's just like, could we just not?
Yeah, like I wish that I could just, for me personally, it's like I wish I could be strong enough to like speak my mind and like be the person who, like be independent at that and not care about what people think of me. Do you feel like you went through something similar of like not being able to like just express how you felt in those positions?
I don't even know if it was so much as that. It's like I had no sense of self at that point. So I was like, wow, everyone else seems to have woke up and just known who they were. And I'm over here just like, oh my God, I'm still trying to find my shoes to go to school. Like, it's something like that.
Meanwhile, everybody is feeling the exact same way, and we think all the other little 12-year-olds have it together, but they obviously didn't, and we're all putting on these fronts, aren't we? It's like really the age when you start to understand lying to yourself and others.
God, yeah.
Okay, now we are ready for your choices. So the first choice is the movie choice.
And the movie choice. Oh my God. You know, when I think about it, it's not that hard actually. Stardust. Based on the Neil Gaiman book, but the funny thing is, I love this movie so effing much that I refuse to read the book because I love the movie so much, and I don't want to have to read the book and go back and watch the movie and go, oh, they didn't do this and they didn't. That movie is so very it's weird because one of my friends, roommate Ryan, when we were in college, was like, have you never seen this movie? I was like, no. He's like, how have you never seen this movie? This is right up your alley. I was like, still haven't. And we watched it. And oh my God, you're right. This is the best movie I've ever seen. And so I have the book on my shelf. I bought it like years ago, but I just can't pick it up.
What exactly do you like about the movie?
I don't know. It's so unabashedly charming, I guess, in terms of like, this is a fairy tale and it's not a kid's movie, but it's also like not gonna be like all grown up and mature, but it's also like it's got magic flying pirates and witches, but it's also like Ian McKellen's narrator, so like it's got a bit of everything.
It's like innocent and dark at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly.
There is like, because I've seen it and I was actually talking to you about it because it's a really good movie. I just came across it on Netflix actually.
I'm also a sucker for a good love story, and like the way that those two are drawn together just naturally instead of pining for each other the whole movie is really sweet.
It's super romantic and charming, like you said, in a very pure way, but with these dark nuances. I feel like it's like an adult fantasy.
Yeah.
You know?
Who's in it?
Michelle Pfeiffer is a witch. Ian McKellen, like I said, is narrator. Mark Strong is yet another villain. Claire Danes is actually the star that like the main guy falls in love with. I can't remember the name of the main guy, which is kind of crappy. We probably should. Robert De Niro actually is like the sky pirate captain, Captain Shakespeare. It's got a good cast.
Yeah, all-star cast.
Charlie Cox
as young
and
Tristan.
Sienna Miller's in it.
Who does she play again?
Victoria.
Oh God, yeah.
Isn't that like the
That's the one that he tries to win over at first, and he
Yeah.
discovers the star and falls in love with her. Like it's just so sweet that when Claire Danes' character, when she falls in love with Tristan, that like she actually glows because she's a star. It's so sweet. Like she can't hide it at all.
It's a bit camp as well. I feel like it's got like this like kind of whimsy elements to it.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's a fun movie.
It's like how we were talking earlier about like, and now there's magic steampunk pirates in the sky. Yes, okay, and go on.
Yeah, exactly. That's the great part about fantasy is like it can be so random because the rules of magic, like anything goes. You know, you can have anything happen, which is so cool. So, Stardust, is that your only choice, or are you milling over other choices as well?
That's the one that always comes to mind when I think of like movie. I mean, a couple other favorites are When Harry Met Sally, Django Unchained. Those are kind of the trifecta of like, those are really, really good stories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for the Indiana Jones films, just from childhood. I mean, I could round out with those. But then I have to start pressuring myself in terms of what's a good movie, what deserves to go with me.
And then you also may want to think.
That's the pretentious answer, though. Really.
Yeah, I know. Like, well, I really think that like Apocalypse Now should come up there with like.
Well, you also like a lot of people like to compare their film to their TV series and kind of weigh the options between the two. You know, as far as like comedy, tragedy, like, you know,
True.
those types of elements. So you can obviously think about, we can move over to the TV side of things. And if you want to take the time to pause this and then come back to it, you can do that as well.
I think that's a good way of doing it if you don't have something that is so dear to your heart. But it seems like
Stardust is
Oh,
number
yeah,
one.
yeah. It's just I was just like, let's go with
like, could you
instinct.
live without ever seeing that movie again?
Probably not.
So
it's very restorative.
Is there, and is there any other movie that you feel that way about?
When Harry Met Sally, because it's just a very earnest. It's kind of the opposite of Stardust because it's not about adventure and fantasy. It's just two people in New York in the real world. Rom-com, which is weird because I don't normally like that genre. And then. This is kind of meets my pretentious quota, but it also gets me. It's a Wonderful Life. I watch it. I watch it literally every Christmas, and it's always interesting. Whichever part of the movie I cry at kind of determines how good or bad of a year I had. Yeah, like it's very interesting to watch that. Whether I tear up at George like tearing up his bridge, or I tear up at every time a bell rings, like. I'm supposed to stop. Like,
so let me ask you this: the apocalypse just happened. What part are you crying at?
Oh my god!
If it's had a bad year, you're just saying, "Kill yourself, you fucking twat! Kill yourself, just die."
Well, my thing is, I think is like if I have a bad year, it's if I have a bad year, it's the final note from Clarence where he's like, "No man is a failure who has friends," because that's the one where I'm like, I need to call everyone I've ever known. Like, just.
Oh, that's really sad if you're in space though, because you don't have friends anymore.
So let's not pick that movie.
Okay, so then Stardust or When Harry Met Sally?
Here's a question.
Yeah.
There's only two of you left. You're on the spaceship, right?
Right.
Do you still celebrate? Like, do you go through those rituals still? Do you have a Halloween? Do you dress up?
Well, we definitely have a fucking Halloween. Yeah. I'll put that out there. I think that like, I feel like this quote's from Doctor Who. In terms of like every culture has some kind of winter, like on the darkest night of the year, we all get together and celebrate the fact that we're still alive. So something would happen around those times. Like the fact that when spring started this year, it was after all these like storms and stuff, and we were all so fucking happy to see the sun. Like, just naturally happens. Just like, let's get an excuse to get a six pack and like go hike a mountain or something. Like,
so then the real question is When Harry Met Sally or Stardust?
Oh well, Stardust. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So.
Not to be.
Moving on to TV series then.
Oh, that's another easy answer. Yeah. Avatar.
The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah, Avatar: Last Airbender, Legend of Aang, outside the U.S. I believe. Because that one, like, obviously watched it as a kid, rediscovered it kind of teenage years when I got all the DVDs and stuff, which I'm the envy of everyone I've ever met because no one thought to get the DVDs, and now everyone's mad because they can't stream it anywhere.
Yeah, you can only get it on Nickelodeon's streaming site.
They have a streaming site?
Yes, apparently. Yeah. Yeah, because that's how I found out, because I was like searching where to get it, and it was like on Nick Stream or whatever.
Nick Stream?
I don't know
my
what it's
gosh.
called, but yeah, Nickelodeon has a streaming site.
No, and like that's because that story, it was kind of like Harry Potter in terms it grew up with its audience.
Yeah.
And had some of the best character arcs, character redemptions, some of the best world building.
I showed him the first episode, and because we were able to acquire it.
Oh, thank God! Yeah.
And I wanna show him the rest of it because it's. So
you still haven't seen it all?
No, I've literally seen one episode.
What I would give to see it for the first time again. Like,
it was a lot of fun, and it made me look forward to the Netflix adaptation they're gonna make.
Yeah.
That looks great. Well, there's only been one still.
Fingers crossed.
Wait, there's been an adaptation?
Netflix is making an
Oh,
adaptation.
I heard about
that.
that.
Next
Yeah.
year.
I'm making the usual joke that the movie doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And not Shyamalan, was it?
Yeah.
I don't know how an Asian person could whitewash an Asian movie. I don't understand that.
That's a good, I've never even thought of it like that. That's a good point.
Oh no. Oh.
Seriously,
You're
though.
right, though.
Come on.
Oh my god. But it's interesting too. I think that as a kid, the idea of like the 4 nations and 4 elements and stuff, it has some really interesting roots in psychology in terms of the way people move, the way people act. Like, oh, you're totally an airbender. Like how people talk about zodiacs almost. Like,
yeah. Which one am I?
Water.
Yes, that's what I always feel. Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
That was the first one, wasn't it, that he was?
No, he's an airbender.
No, but doesn't he learn?
The girl is the water.
The girl, yeah,
The
Katara
first
is the water.
season is called. Yeah, the first chapter.
Water.
Yeah, he
Yes.
learns.
All right,
Yeah.
All right, I'm new to it.
I'm new.
Leave me alone.
God.
You're Earth, I feel like.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know what that means.
You just seem you're just a very grounded person. You're like,
Unfortunately, it's very on the nose, but like.
yeah, you're very grounded. You're very stubborn.
Yeah, that
you
sounds
know.
like me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What do you think I am?
I don't know. I want to say like water, just because we're both Ravenclaws, and
Well, see the thing about Ravenclaw.
But I feel like that I'm just being biased.
Well, the thing about Ravenclaw, though, and this is the segue into my actual thing, is Ravenclaw is, because it's still 4 houses, 4 elements, still connects.
Yeah.
Ravenclaw is air.
Oh, right, because it's a bird.
And it's all about thought, mental capacity.
Okay, because here's my thing is like when I looked at you, I thought air, but then I was like leaning towards water because I'm a Ravenclaw and
No,
so
I know.
are you.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like thrown, but I really was thinking
No, I'm
air
definitely air in terms of like the wind could blow the wrong way and I'm not talking to someone for 25 days. Like,
yeah. Well, you know what's funny is I took the really, really thorough house quiz where it like tells you the percentages.
The percentages, yeah.
And I'm almost like down the middle on all 4.
Wow.
Like, almost like perfectly split.
I got majority Ravenclaw. This is a weird segue.
Yeah, I know.
I got majority Ravenclaw, and then second place, I don't know if this is personal growth, was Gryffindor, which really surprised me because I crap on Gryffindors all the time. Like,
Why are these fucking quizzes? And are these official JK Rowling?
they are official, yeah.
What,
Well,
the percentage one?
the percentage one isn't official, but
Okay.
probably some really, really hardcore fans did it.
Yeah, the percentage,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, but like you've done.
Yeah, I've done the other 2, yeah.
And you are.
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor, yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like a
yeah.
Gryffindor, doesn't he?
Go jump off a cliff. No, just kidding.
But here's the thing. So Matt,
Risk takers.
let me tell you this, this is how Slytherin you really are.
No,
This honestly could be a whole other episode of this podcast.
I've thought about this. I do think I'm a Slytherin.
Because the first time he took the quiz, he got Slytherin, and he got so mad that he made a new account and took the quiz
And I
again,
just tried to make
and he got Gryffindor. I was like, that's so Slytherin of you.
Yeah,
Because I think
definitely
I've taken
Slytherin.
it like 3 or 4 times or something like that. I don't know. I've taken it a lot, and most of the time I get Ravenclaw, and I think I've gotten Slytherin once.
It's like a 1 or 2 question difference sometimes. Like,
Yeah, but anyway, back to Avatar.
There's the segue.
Yeah, so that's the only TV series.
I mean, because I'm a much more of a movie person in terms of I like digesting a movie at once and then talking about it and then watching it again and looking for stuff. I'm tempted to say Haunting of Hill House, but that's technically a mini-series. It's like a set number of episodes and stuff, just because I love the way that they work the story into horror and they lift it out of, it's not just jump scares and stuff.
It's a domestic drama, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
like that's the things that make authors like Poe or King stand out in that genre, is that they have a story to tell, not just look at how gross that zombie is. Like,
yeah.
it's weird talking about TV shows because I have like my choice few, because I don't. That's the medium, like out of books, movies, music, TV shows. TV shows is last for me.
Yeah.
It's the other 3 that I'm more concerned with.
What would you say yours is? I'm trying to think of like how I would order it.
I think
the way television's progressed over the last 10 years or so, I think it's difficult to make that choice now because each episode's a fucking movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you though, Austin, just because I do like fantasy, and I feel like you get more fantasy in movies than you do in TV. Good fantasy, anyway.
True. Yeah.
So
You can't continue to spend that amount of money you'd need to spend to make a great
Yeah.
fantasy TV series.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
because I would say like one of my all-time favorite shows now is The Magicians, because I feel like it just does that for me in such an intelligent way. I cannot speak highly. Like, you just have to watch it. It's
Right.
so good.
I mean, there's always like Friends in the back of your head too, as far as TV shows go. But it's like, come on, that's the comfort food. Like, you don't want that for the rest of your life. Like,
I feel like your two options are good, because I mean, they are both fantasy, but I do feel like they are very different in the right ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one's a cartoon, and
yeah.
one's, its own like rom-com kind of thing. So you get that along with like the adventure fantasy. I guess Stardust is kind of an adventure fantasy as well, but I feel like they're good. I'm trying to think if I feel like they might be too similar or not.
I think what I was talking about earlier in terms of this idea of like literary fantasy as opposed to just, there was a whole subgenre of movies in the 90s of sword and sandal fantasies, in terms of just, we're going to go out and fight and have great special effects, and it's all about who's fighting who.
Yeah.
Whereas stories like Avatar, Lord of the Rings, and Stardust, Game of Thrones, they make you think. It's not about memorizing what set of spells got you here. It's about, that moral conundrum, I don't know how I would have responded to that. Like,
yeah. Because I'm not really into like action films, and I feel like that's what like a lot of them.
Action films have kind of died off if you think about it.
Well, that's because the Marvel universe kind of took
Superheroes
hold of like the action world. But they just released like John Wick 3, and Shaft is coming out, but I think that's going to be more of like a.
They seem to make a rule in Hollywood.
Oh
that
God,
if
I
you
forgot.
Make an action film, it has to have Dwayne the Rock Johnson
True.
in it now. And
Yeah.
he can only do so many films. So.
Yeah.
I forgot. I'm still going with Stardust as my answer, but I cannot believe I forgot about Brendan Fraser's Mummy. Oh my God, it's such a good movie.
I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if that movie
You don't like that one?
holds up a hold over time.
But it's so camp. Like,
I haven't
I know,
seen it in a
yeah.
long time, but I
haven't
can't
seen
imagine it's
Yeah, I haven't
aged
seen it in
well.
a long time either, but yeah.
Did you see the Tom? Was there a Tom Cruise one recently?
there was one.
you watch
I
it?
did not see that one out
Yeah, I
of
didn't.
It
principle.
looks
Yeah.
so dumb.
It looked bad.
Yeah.
I didn't even bother. But
Vote with your box office dollars, people. Like,
So we have your movie choice and your TV series. Music album. I feel like I know what it's gonna be. So.
yeah.
Because we were talking about it earlier.
You're not gonna like this one.
Yeah, you are. Matthew.
I mean, the easy answer is greatest hits, Queen.
Oh, no greatest hits album.
No greatest hits
Yeah,
album. That's the
on
thing.
should we
Yeah.
change that or not? Because it's a single.
No, I like the
No,
I like the
it's
challenge
gotta
though.
have parameters.
All right.
You can do, however, just because we've done it in the past, you can do a live album. We've let that slide before. So
That doesn't really change a whole lot though. 'Cause, like the Wembley album is great, but I think this is fun because she literally told me on the drive over here that you don't like Queen, and they're like my favorite band.
I explained this to
I told him that you don't like that guy.
Brian May.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah,
like him.
this is, yeah.
He looks like
But you like Freddie
a
Mercury.
17th century.
He does.
politician or
Oh my
something.
God.
Stupid little hair.
Stupid. Oh no.
It's definitely permed. That's not natural.
If I had to go with one album though, it would probably be. God, it's between Jazz and Day at the Races. Which is probably controversial because neither of those has Bohemian Rhapsody on them, actually.
What songs do they have on them? What big hits?
Jazz has "Don't Stop Me Now," "Fat Bottom Girls." There's a couple of others on there that are slipping my mind. Day at the Races has "Somebody to Love," which is kind of the big one. It has "Tie Your Mother Down" and "White Man," but they're both really good, like rock out songs. "Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy." Teo Toriade, which is really, really cool. They're just they blend well together, which is not opera. It's like now we're epic, now we're soft, now we're musical theater, now we're soft again. Like,
I suppose if I delve deeper into Queen, maybe I'd like them. But anything I've ever heard just seems like
Anthem rock.
arena
They're very
anthem rock.
I mean, I know
It
this
seems so
isn't
contrived and fucking.
I know this isn't like
But
a
it
music.
wasn't contrived at the time. Like, that's what you have to remember. It was
Yeah,
like
it is very-
revolutionary at the time.
It was what I like about them is that it's very epic and it's very the choral work is very, very interesting in terms of it's not just a guitar riff and then a solo and then a drum solo. In terms of it all works together, like the audience has a place. I think it like some biography or something I read about them that like at the time, like Pink Floyd is coming out with all this stuff and heavy metal is coming around and like everyone's all depressed and agitated. Queen drops "We Are the Champions" and "We Will Rock You," just like we're on top of the world. Don't know what you guys are doing. Like, so it's I don't know. It's kind of a just like, all right, we can do this. Like
They, like, started a movement. Like, and that's what's so cool about them.
Still not sold.
still not sold. We're gonna get it. No, just that's the rest of this episode. No, just kidding.
So are you going to go with A Day at the Races?
I
then?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good choice, I think. Is there,
No, it's not. It's not just. Oh, you know
I mean,
that
for
latest.
space, like, it just seems epic to go with the environment that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, because it's funny because like I know you said you haven't read Good Omens, but there's a hilarious line in there about like it's set during the 90s. That's when it was written. Well, at least the book was. The show it doesn't specify. Now that the show is out, but the demon Crowley who drives around in this old black beat up Bentley and stuff. There's a joke about the fact that like any given cassette tape in the 90s, if left unsupervised, would just turn into Queen's greatest hits. Like, and so he literally shows up in the show blasting the guitar solo to Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, it was on point.
Well, Austin, you have one more choice to make. This one is definitely the easiest, we think. Bobby Flay has survived to cook you one final meal. You can have whatever you want. There are literally zero limitations to this.
Wow, even though we're in space?
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna.
This is
cook
before
you
you
this
go into
meal
space.
Oh, this is
before you-
before we're
And
going
then
into
once
space.
you're in
Onto the
space,
spaceship.
once you're in space, it's like freeze-dried space
And
food.
then, then it's the
So this is
usual.
your last real meal.
Huh.
Matthew's burgers that he just made. That's
I
all
mean,
right.
you know, I'm not gonna lie. I had a mean ass salmon burger the other day. That always comes to mind because like salmon's one of my go-tos. I love it. Can be seasoned. It cannot. But I think to spice it up a little bit, maybe like a seafood paella. No, because that could be spicy enough. You know.
I like a paella. What else would that be?
No
Your
desserts?
appetizer? Yeah, you can have literally no limitations.
Wow. Okay.
So if you want a standard, like to just kind of structure it for yourself, think like app, main, dessert,
App, main.
drinks.
Okay.
But you can do
And
literally
you can
whatever.
also get exotic if you want to try like elephant.
Oh wow. Okay. God.
You don't have to,
yeah.
but Bobby's more than happy to
Yeah.
cook you elephant.
Bobby will cook you some of his own leg meat if you ask him,
God.
which has been done before.
Wow.
So
Well, I do like. Maybe this is more of an appetizer, like Korean barbecue style, like octopus. Like there was one place I went that had that. That was one of the best things I've ever eaten.
I'm like so scared of octopus.
They were like little. They weren't even like. It wasn't even like calamari chopped up. It was like little baby, like their little tentacles just whoop on the like.
Oh,
Let me
no.
tell you why I'm so scared of them. Because, and it is octopuses, learned that on that stupid ass quiz show.
Oh no!
It's not octopi, apparently.
It's not octopeople either.
No.
Oh, God.
No, but apparently they are. I mean, if you watch any videos with an octopus, and you will be afraid of them. They are so effing smart.
Oh yeah.
It scares me, and
They
I
can
just
like unscrew their own little cage.
Well, listen to this freaking crazy story. So this guy had an octopus in its own tank, and then in the other side of his apartment, he had a fish tank, and his fish kept going missing. and he couldn't figure out why.
And the octopus.
So when he set up hidden cameras, and the octopus would open its tank, crawl out, crawl over to the fish tank, open the fish tank, eat the fish, close the fish tank lid, go back to his tank, and put the lid back
Have you
on.
read any Lovecraft? Because that's why Cthulhu has like an octopus head, and that's like all these sea creatures and stuff. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah. So I'm really afraid that they're just going to take over the world one day. And so I don't like to eat them, because if they take over the world, I'm just going to be like, hey, I never ate you. I refuse to.
Oh, man.
When we went to Japan for our honeymoon as well, and there were these little
Oh,
stalls.
nothing but seafood, probably.
No,
like,
there
We
were
love
these stalls,
seafood.
and they had these like little balls that looked so appetizing.
They were like little
Ned
dough balls
Smear,
with
mayonnaise
cheese.
and shit on them.
Wow.
So we went to one, we bit into it, and we're like, this is octopus, and we just threw it away straight away. Went to another stall because it didn't look the same.
Yeah.
It's fucking octopus again.
my
We kept on
God.
eating octopus without meaning to. We love you, octopus. Don't kill us.
But because it's just like a very common street food in Tokyo, or these like little octopus balls.
right.
And they look really good, but I just can't eat octopuses. I can't do it. It feels so wrong saying octopuses, but apparently
It does,
it's right.
yeah.
But apparently it's right.
So, well, now I'm trying to think whether or not the paella would be the appetizer or not. I will.
You can make both. You can make your grilled
Yeah.
octopus and your paella
And the
one
paella.
appetizer, like
That's true.
together.
Because I will say I'm not that big of a dessert person. Like, boo, I know, but I like, given the option, I skip it every time, unless someone already has it. Because I think it's also I'd rather have the alcohol than the sugar when it gets down to it.
You can have both though. You don't have to choose.
Yeah. Because here's the thing is I really like red wine. That's like my go-to. Like I really like Spanish and Italians, but I really want to. This is going to be probably the weirdest answer you've heard on the entire run of this podcast.
It's probably not, but go
Okay,
ahead.
well here we go. Here we go. I like really want to learn more about like Mongolian culture. Because I've read a few like history books, and like there was one book I read about a guy's trip, like year-long trip through there, and they have an alcoholic fermented goat's milk over there that I can't remember the name, but like I feel like that would be an insane night.
I just thought of the redheaded wildling from Game of Thrones who's drinking the giant's
Oh, Torment, yeah.
Tormund. Yeah, that's just that's
Grow
just how
big
I
and strong.
envisioned you. All right, so fermented goat milk,
Alcoholic fermented goat milk.
alcoholic fermented goat milk, Korean grilled, Korean barbecue octopus, and paella, a seafood paella. Are we having anything else?
I really like. This is kind of basic, but I really like. Well, we've been exotic the whole time, so really like a good grilled, like couple of pork chops, like a spicy, and then like maybe some like spinach or asparagus or like.
Applesauce.
I don't really like applesauce.
That's just a typical side with pork chops. I feel
Oh.
like. I
Yeah,
feel
it
like
is, yeah.
right. Like I don't know. My mom and my family always eat it. I'm not a big
It's
pork
like
person.
cranberries and turkey, horseradish and beef.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
like
Okay.
Applesauce and pork chop.
Yeah.
So pork chop, asparagus. You said. Anything else with it? Mashed potatoes.
I don't know. I'm not that big of a foodie, y'all.
That's
It's
okay.
heresy as a millennial, but like.
Somebody.
Okay. I think there's 2 more questions left.
But
Whoa.
your choices are done.
your choices
your
are all
choices
done.
are locked in. You're ready to go. We just want to know what your idea of hell on board the spaceship would be. So like, you don't have to choose all 3, but like, what would be
Oh,
the
it's like
worst
multiple choice.
film-
Okay.
Yeah. What worst film? Worst
Holy
series,
crap, okay.
Worst album or artist?
Probably like slightly off key, like Skrillex kind of like some kind of doesn't have words at all, doesn't have any actual instruments, all been created from a computer.
Is Skrillex who you would say like the first artist who comes to your mind when you're like,
No,
wouldn't be able to look at
it-
that,
it-
or, like,
he
is there
just-
an artist that comes to your head?
An artist doesn't come to my head. It would just be like Because with music, there's no story. There's nothing to kind of like. If it's a TV show, you can sit down and try and make some sense of it.
Yeah.
Whereas music, it's just this like wave of can't get away from it.
Okay, so finally, you're given one last opportunity to back out and perish on Earth with everyone else. Do you take it?
Apocalypse is, oh god, it depends on the. I was gonna say it depends on the apocalypse scenario. Then I remembered freaking Gwyneth Paltrow. How long do I get to live?
The Earth is a wasteland, so it's probably
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
end
gone
days,
to yeah.
You got no chance.
Don't really know what asphyxiation feels like in outer space, but I also don't know what corrupt jade butt plugs feel like. So, I don't know. I'd probably stay on Earth.
Really?
Yeah. Just because I think, I don't know, maybe I've read too much cosmic horror, but like there's a lot about space that like we'd get to real quick.
Yeah.
You're the first person to ever.
Really?
Yeah, everyone said they'd go before. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, Austin, that's it. You've made it into, you've
Well, I
died on
perished
Earth.
on Earth. Oh my god.
Yeah. Looks like we'll have to choose 2 other people to go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe Devin will still go on.
Sophie Turner and Devin.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's funny. They steal the ticket. Bye. Like this ain't a +1. Like these are individual.
See, I feel like if you were given that option, Devin would be like, "Come on, Austin, we're going."
Yeah, she'd drag me on the ship.
She's like, "You're not making me do this alone."
Well, how big is the spaceship? Now that I think about
The
it,
size of our apartment is the living space, is what we.
I'm staying on Earth. Like this is a nice apartment, but like for all time,
Yeah, that's right.
I need to get out.
One final thing before you go, we're requesting that you sing a song off of the album that you chose. Just an excerpt.
Yo, my voice is not even okay.
I know he was talking about how his tonsils are swollen.
Yeah,
earlier.
I'll try and do it in like a lower key. Like, okay, that'll work. It's the chorus, I think, of Teo Toriade. Let us cling together as the years go by. Oh, my love, my love. And the darkness of the night, our candle still will burn. Let us never lose the lessons we have learned.
Woo, that was good.
Yeah, I had to drop it down an octave for sure, but you know.
Well, thank you very much. And that is the end.
We did it.
We did
Yay.